So based off my analysis, the Nasdaq and the S&P 500 is currently in overbought conditions. Along with that, we now have the Fear and Greed Index now in extreme greed, which could be signaling that we're nearing a reversal in the markets. So over the weekend, we had the passing of the big, beautiful bill. Let's go ahead and take a listen to who the bill will benefit the most.
Let's talk about the implications, particularly on the tax side of this bill. Who's going to gain the most from it? Joining us, Robert Frank here at Post 9 with some of those details. Robert, what jumps out to you? Who's going to be the big beneficiaries?
Well, the big beneficiaries are the ones who usually benefit, those toward the top. In fact, about 80% of the benefits of this bill go to the top 10% of earners. Now, while the tax cuts by themselves help every income group, I want to be clear here. Almost everyone gets a tax cut here. It wasn't just the wealthy that get tax cuts, but those cost cuts, which are mainly in Medicaid and SNAP, those are going to offset some of those tax cuts for those at the bottom. Now, the Yale Budget Lab looked at all this. So how each income group fares in the Senate bill, you combine the changes of the tax FERS as well as the budget cut. You get the bottom 20% would see a decline in after-tax income of $560 a year, or a 2.3% decrease in after-tax income. Now, the middle 20%, they would see a slight gain of $760 a year, or 1.5%. And the top quintile gets a $6,000 cut, or about 2.3%. Now, the top 1%, those making $650,000 or more, they get a tax cut of about $32,000 a year, 2.1%. So at the very top, it actually starts to decline because there's some income thresholds here for many of these provisions. Now, at the same time, most of the expensive parts of the tax bill benefit those at the bottom. So extending this standard deduction, that costs $1.4 trillion. Child tax credit, $800 billion. Eliminating tax on tips and overtime, over $120 billion. Now, remind you, the top 10% pays 70% of all federal income taxes, so the tax cuts mainly benefit those at the top. So it's when you combine them that you start to get this very mixed effect at the bottom.
Is there regional factors here too? I mean, the SALT deduction being extended, I guess, is therefore not a change in the same way that it was back in 2017.
It's a positive change for those who live in high tax blue states. And that's where regionally, I think you're going to see some differences.
Up to $500,000 in income.
Up to $500,000 income. And then it phases out in 5 years. So again, what's interesting, what compares to the 2017 tax cuts, this makes the tax code more complicated. And there's still uncertainty built into this, where a lot of these provisions, for the same reasons, for budgetary reasons, are going to expire in the next 5 years or so.
I know Sarah's been...
Now, going into the rest of the video, I'm going to give you guys all the important levels to watch on Nvidia, ticker symbol NVDA, Tesla, ticker symbol TSLA, Broadcom, ticker symbol AVGO, Palantir, ticker symbol PLTR, SOFI, and ticker symbol QBTS, D-Wave Quantum. Let's start with Tesla, ticker symbol TSLA. Now, current support for Tesla is going to be at 309. If the stock falls below that level, then look for a pullback to 290. And if that level breaks, then look for a further pullback to 277. Above current support, you have resistance at 322 and at 343. If Tesla can get above 322, I want you guys to look for a run to 343, which would be an increase of over 9%. Next, we have Nvidia, ticker symbol NVDA. Now, in previous videos, I did mention to you guys that if Nvidia was to stay above 153, then you guys should look for a run to 160. Looking at the chart, you guys can see that's exactly what happened. With that said, Nvidia's main level of support is going to be at 153. If it falls below that level, then look for a pullback to 145. And if 145 breaks, your next level of support is going to be at 140. Above current support, you have resistance at 160 and at 169. If Nvidia can get above 160, I want you guys to look for a run to 169. From current price, we're looking at an increase of over 6%. The next ticker is Palantir, ticker symbol PLTR. So after hitting my price target at 144, Palantir has steadily been on the decline. Now, if Palantir can't get above 135, then look for a pullback to 125. And if that level breaks, then look for a 14% pullback to 115. Above current support, you still have resistance at 135 and at 144. If Palantir can get above 135, then look for that run to 144. Next, we have ticker symbol SOFI, SOFI Technologies. Now, current support for SOFI is going to be at $18 per share. If the stock falls below that level, then look for a pullback to $16.50. And if the stock falls below that level, then we're looking at a 20% pullback to $14.75. Above current support, you have resistance at $20 and at $21.50. If SOFI can break above $20 per share, then I want you guys to look for a 15% run to $21.50. The next stock is Broadcom, ticker symbol AVGO. Current support for Broadcom is going to be at $270. If the stock falls beneath that level, then look for a 6% pullback to $255. And if $255 gets broken, then look for a further pullback to $247. Above current support, you have resistance at $280 and at $292. If Broadcom can get above $280, then I want you guys to look for a run to $292. From current price, we're looking at an increase of over 6%. The next ticker is QBTS, D-Wave Quantum. Now, current support for D-Wave Quantum is going to be at $16 per share. If the stock falls beneath that level, then look for a 13% pullback to $14.50. And overall to the downside, I'm still looking for a pullback to $13 per share. Above current support, you have resistance at $17.53 and at $18.87. If the stock can get above $17.53, then look for a run to $18.87. Alright guys, if you like this video, go ahead and leave a thumbs up, and if you're not yet subscribed, do consider subscribing to the channel. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.